For any input field, you will find these options, like you will have one container, which is your input area, one space where you can write it. So you may or may not have a placeholder text, but to make it work, you just need this container where any user can input their keyword or text or number or whatever is required. So now on the top, you have label text. Now this label text is optional in certain cases, such as search or any date form, but it always helps user to understand what this input field is about. Then at the bottom, you also have helper text or supporting text. Now this can be converted into error text as well, with red or any sort of error color which you have for your system. And once user writes something put as an input, that text is known as input text. The blinking element is your cursor. And input fields can have icons. Either they can be trailing icon or they can be a leading icon on the left. Moving on, let's talk about label placement and placeholder text. Many places you might not find label text, but at the same time, it's good to have if your design allows for label text. Now, there are three places where you can place your label text. The first one is outside container, like this one. Then second one is on the border of your container, and third inside the container. Now, all three are capable of doing the same things, but because of different style, you may choose to use one. And also they have their own pros and cons, such as this one have more tappable area. That means using this style on mobile devices gives you better results, better interaction than these ones. Now these ones are more precise and need accurate clicking, and therefore if they are made for desktops, they work in better way. There is no restriction as such where you should use or we should not use. You always should take your own decision that why you are using either of them. Now once user clicks on this, they get something like this as a focus state. Now there is another way. If you as a designer do not want a placeholder text to be visible, then in material design you will notice that only label text is visible. And once you click on this, it gives you something similar to your second option, and you can also animate in this manner as well. So that's for your label placement and placeholder text. Now let's talk about different types of input fields based on input. So you have text input, you have phone number input, or you can simply say a digit input. And then you have OTP input, then your date input, password input, search input, and then few inputs with prefixes and suffixes. Now this particular container, this particular field has option to change your prefix, but in certain cases you do not get an option as a user. So as a designer, you have to decide whether you want these suffix to change or not, and give capability to user to change it or not. For example, this is also a prefix. This is also a prefix, but here user has this option to change the currency, right? And at last you have input with drop down. That means this is a drop down by default, but it has a capability to accept input text as well. Now moving on, if we talk about states, you have a default state, a hover state, a focus state, and then a state with input. You also have error state, success state, and disable state. Now this is non-editable state, which is similar to disable but with your input text, right? And now let's create a responsive input field with the help of auto layout. First, what we are going to do is either we can start with a rectangle, or we can directly start with auto layout properties. In the rectangle, I do not need much. So let's say I want to make something like this. I have a rectangle with same properties. Okay, but we actually do not need it because we are going to use frames. Now rectangle and frames are same. First, what we are going to do is we'll select this placeholder text, and I want to put this icon on the right over here. So I'm going to group it, and I'm going to convert this into auto layout. We'll check for the positioning, whether it's absolute or relative. Now it's relative because we do not have any absolute position marked over here, and which can be seen from here. Ignore auto layout. So this is like absolute positioning, but I want to make it relative. So let's keep it on the left, right. And now I want this placeholder text to fill container, not the hub, so that if I increase or decrease its size, it should respond. And at the end, I have made property of this text as a truncate one, right, with one line. So this helps a lot when you are resizing. Now let's group label text and placeholder group, and then convert them into auto layout, or let's directly convert this into auto layout. Now we get a frame with label text on the top, and your placeholder group at the bottom. Now this is not end to end. As you can see, for label text, it's responding and it has fill attribute selected. Now I want placeholder group to respond to the final width as well. So I will convert this into fill container. That means I have this container as a fill, I have this placeholder text as a fill, and I have this label text as a fill as well. Now this works only when your final selection has a fixed width. I want this label text to align to this one. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll put this into auto layout. And to do that, I'll create a group and then convert this into auto layout. Now, what I want to do is to put helper text below here and with same margin as my label text and placeholder text. So first, because frames and rectangles are same, I'm going to transfer properties of this rectangle to this frame group. And I'm going to give it a left and right margin of 20 pixels and top and bottom margin of 12 pixels, right? And now my text field is ready with all the attributes. So if I reduce its width, it will respond in a way I want. At the bottom, I want this helper text to respond to final width as well. So I'm going to group it, convert this into auto layout, and I'm going to create this a fill property and to this input field as well. Now if I reduce its size, my helper text and my input text field input area is responding. Both of them are responding right now. So whether I have to use it for this small device size, or let's say 360, or I have to use it for a tab view, right? Or let's say desktop view, I can resize it. This particular frame or this particular group is responsive. But again, with the helper text, we do not have alignment yet. Now, few designers might choose to align with the container, but I like my all text to align by themselves is to align to this one. So I'll select this frame and I'll give a left and right margin of 20 pixel to this as well. Now this is aligned to my text on the top. And that's how you create a responsive text field. Now this one is for default, and also we can make it interactive. So first of all, let's look at these ones. So this is text field, and different text fields in different states, although they have similar names all across. So this is what people call you, and again, the same name on the left. This will help us smart animate all these fields, and make our interaction better. Over here, I have written that I'm going to make it without keyboard input. That means it is just going to smart animate with given keyword. So let's quickly create a component set and give them certain interaction. Okay, so I'm going to select all of them and then create a component set. Okay, I'll go back. I need to assign different names to these fields as well. That's where they will work. Now they will have different attributes and will not conflict. Let's make these interactive. So I'll go to prototype. I'll drag it here, which will change its state from default to focus, and I want to smart animate. Okay, so on click, this will happen. And then once user clicks on this one, it will change to next state. I want ease in and ease out. Once user clicks on this error state as well, then user will be able to edit it. And let's grab this and see how it's working. So this is the text field, and let's put it here and let's align it a bit and see how it's working. And for the preview, so you have your text field, and then once you click on it, the focus state, you click on it once again, then it is in typing state. You clicked outside, then it was in your typed state, and now it gave you an error because the name is not complete. And then user, let's say, clicked on it again and then hit enter or any trigger, right? And then in your typed state and then success state. Now, this is not something which is ideal as in what we see in real life, that how your input fields interact. But this is enough for your developers or other stakeholders to know that what state your next screen will be and how your inputs are going to respond, what will be the communication, what will be your label text, what will be your input text, and when it is going to throw error, when it is going to show success, right? Now, all those things are part of your UX. All right, so that's all for this video, folks. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. And in my upcoming video, I'll be covering about selectors. So stay tuned for that video. And I'll make my upcoming videos little shorter and very crisp. So stay tuned, keep learning. Till then, bye bye, take care.